Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So I got the Boox Note Air 5C keyboard case in a couple of days ago, and I've been able to put it through some initial testing, including using it for a full day at work to take notes on. And I wanted to share my thoughts with you in this video. Hey, if you like what you see here, take a minute and like the video, and I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps us grow. We're a little over 2,800 subscribers now. Would really like to make that push for 3,000. And I would appreciate your help to get there. Thank you. So here's the cover. As you can see, it's very nice. I will say that it's a fingerprint magnet. I'll say that right off the bat. I don't know if it is just the material that it's made out of, but certainly the oil on my hands tends to stick to it. I have been called a greasy person before in my life, but for different reasons. So maybe it's me, maybe it's not the case, but anyway, it does attract fingerprints, at least for me. The device is pretty well made. It's, I guess, as thin as you could possibly get it and still be able to have some key travel. As you can see, here's what the thickness of the bottom portion is, where the keys are. That is pretty firmly in the case itself. On the top portion of it here, you see that you got the pogo pins. This is partially attached to the case, where you can have kind of the ability to swing this forward and to fit into the slot here, so that you got the single viewing angle that it allows you to have. The materials that it's made out of is very similar to the case that comes with the Note Air 5C. I love this material. I don't know what you would call it. I don't know if it, but it feels sort of like a very soft canvas type material. It's got the Boox logo in the middle of the case there. Pretty unremarkable other than that. One of the key points that I would point out here is that it does have and I don't know if you can see this in the video or not, you can barely see it here, but it does have a charging port on this particular keyboard, which means that when the device is in the keyboard, and let me show you that real quick. So when the device is in the keyboard, and let me point this out real quick as well, you can see it kind of has a frame that the device sits inside of. It's a magnetic case, but it does kind of have that frame to further secure it. But the charging port rests right here. And as you can see, the charging port is kind of hidden. So well, actually, when you have it in this position anyway, you don't have any way to plug in the cable. So it's good that they have a pass-through charging port over here on the side to be able to give you a way to continue to charge the device while it's in the keyboard, because the keyboard does draw power from the device itself. So I mentioned the viewing angle. As you can see, this is what it looks like. I will try to pick it up and show it to you if I can. It's kind of hard to say, but it's not exactly 90 degrees. It's probably 70 degrees, something like that, 75 degrees angle. But it's a nice viewing angle. It would have been nice if they would have also allowed you to have it maybe to sit a little bit further forward like that. But as it is, it works fine. This case, I think they learned some lessons from the Note Max and the Tab XC case, where it had the two little nibs. If you've not seen my previous video on that, that had two little nibs that when you close the case, those were hitting the screen. Well, on this one they have, if you can see this, they've got little rubber stoppers right here on four corners of the keyboard itself, so that when you close the case, those are higher than the keys, and they're actually what make contact with the screen and keep the keys from rubbing up against the screen. So that's a really nice touch. One of the things that I don't like is that they have also, continued with the flap idea of holding the pen in place. That's such a strong magnet, I can't take it apart. But when you have this closed, this actually folds over the keyboard to hold your pen in place. And the pen, while it's docked, it's rolled a little bit forward because of you couldn't even see that, but it's rolled a little bit forward because of the back of the case extends up a little bit. When you actually close the case, it kind of encloses the pen and kind of knocks it up a little bit to where it's not entirely magnetized there. So I think if you're going to carry it like that, you need to use one of the pin loops that I always talk about, or you do need to put that flap on there and give it a little bit of extra security on that. I would prefer the pin loops that I use. So one of the questions that I had is this thing lappable? And if it was a little bit wider, it probably would be, but like when I put my knees together, it doesn't quite fit across my legs. So I would say it's lappable with a pillow in your lap or something like that, or some other uh, something to support the device and give you like a little table. Um, the weight of it, it's not any heavier, in my opinion, than any keyboard dock, such as the Apple Magic Keyboard for my 11-inch Apple iPad Pro. I forgot what the name of the device was. As far as being an everyday carry, I would say I would not carry the device in this case because it just makes it too bulky. I would probably have the case in my bag in case I needed to use it, but still carry it in the regular origami case that came with it. I just think that this is too heavy to make it an everyday carry. I was also concerned about, does it slide on a desk? And it's got, the grippiness, the material that the folio is made out of gives it, I think, enough grippiness. It will move if you push on it, but it's not a bad issue there at all. And then also I was thinking, before I got it, can I use this if it's folded backwards? And yeah, you can. You absolutely can. You do have the keys back here that you're not interfering with anything. It's certainly not typing while you're doing that, but that's quite a hefty package as well. I think you could use it in an emergency like that, but I would just prefer to take it out and use the regular folio rather than try to use the keyboard case. As I said, I would not use this keyboard case as an everyday carry, just as a accessory that I pull out of my bag and use as needed. So when you first dock the keyboard case, of course, you're going to be in portrait mode normally, or I am at least. When you first dock the device in the keyboard cover, you get a pop-up, and I'm not going to be able to show that to you unless I tilt this the right way. But you get a pop-up that says you got some options you can check. Trigger landscape mode automatically when a keyboard is connected, which I did. As you can see, it's already rotated my screen around. You get a shortcut menu that can pop up, and then that shortcut menu will pop up as soon as I click OK here. I'll show you that real quick. But you can automatically switch to ultra fast mode when a keyboard is connected. That just means that the screen's going to refresh faster, and in case you're a fast typer, it's going to keep up with you a lot better. So I do like that. It's got all the shortcuts as well. In the Tab XC, the Note Max case, it had a trackpad. I'm glad that they do not include a trackpad on this. I think that, and what made me think of this was the ultra fast mode. The trackpad is just not satisfactory to me. You swipe your finger around it, and the response of the mouse pointer on the screen is just not, the latency is too much. So I'm glad that they did not include this here. And it's easy when you're typing to just reach up and touch the screen, so that's not an issue at all. You can also, so I've got this set where this reminder was going to pop up every time, mainly because I wanted to show it to you. I can turn that off by clicking no more reminder. But when I click OK, the next thing that pops up is a keyboard shortcut menu, so you can get back to the home screen, back the multitask, close current app, all the things that you see here. You can look at your notifications, you can change your screen brightness and color temperature, you can do a full screen refresh, you can control the volume, and you can do a screenshot as well. I can also say, don't remind me of this every time, but until I learn these things, I want it to remind me every time so that I can learn what each one of these things does. So, of course, you can click on that and get out of it. But I also wanted to show you the settings menu as well. So when you go into settings and you come down here to more settings, you've got an option for a physical keyboard. And when I click on that, so there's several things you can turn on or off. I've got everything on except for one. I'll go over that in just a second. Keyboard connection notification. It will let you know when you put that into the keyboard. Trigger landscape mode automatically. That was also on the options that I showed you previously. Restore portrait mode after the keyboard is disconnected, and it does do that. You can turn on or off the shortcut reminders. Automatically switch to ultra fast mode, and then wake up the device with the keyboard. I find that this is incredibly necessary because the power button is very hard. There's a lip here, and the power button, and I know you can't see that. Let me see if I can get it in the light. There's a lip here, and the power button is very hard to press, especially if you're, you got chunky fingers, maybe like I do. But you want to be able to wake this up maybe with the enter key. which is what I use to open the device when I've got it in the keyboard as well. Here's where you can also trigger your shortcut reminder. And then it's got show virtual keyboard. I was getting so aggravated because I've got a physical keyboard attached, and then when I would bring up something that would require typing, it would also bring up a virtual keyboard, so I can turn that off as well. And then, of course, you can change your keyboard layouts based on your system language, is how that works. So full disclosure, I guess I should have said this at the beginning of the video. This keyboard cover was provided for me by Boox with no obligation. There's no compensation, no requirement that I say anything positive about it. Boox is very open. They will let you say anything, that you can bash their products if you want to, and they'll still continue to support you as a YouTube creator. Here's what I will say. Would I recommend this? Yeah, I kind of do. It's pretty cool to be able to take my e-ink device and use it sort of like a laptop, an e-ink laptop. I liked doing that with the Tab XC, and I still do use the keyboard for the Tab XC, but I like the portability of this a little bit better. I still use both of the keyboard cases now, and I continue to use both of the keyboard cases. So I would recommend it. Availability is a little scarce right now. I don't think you can find it on the Boox website as being available yet, at least not in the US. And of course, it's not shown to be available on Amazon yet. I will update, maybe, put some kind of a post out on YouTube once it is available to flag it for everybody that it's out there. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. That really helps the channel. We're trying to hit 3,000 subscribers. We're a little under 200 away right now. So your help and support is much appreciated. See you in the next video.